So this is such a powerful lesson and a strategy that you can literally implement ASAP, because what happens and what I found with reps that use metrics on calls with their champion is they usually uncover through discovery a very low level metric, but they then say, oh, well, the CRM asks me for metrics, so I found a metric, but it's not that of an important metric to the organization and to the economic buyer. There's usually a few metrics above it that's actually being impacted most, and you want to use the stepped metrics model that I use to get there. So let me give you a couple of examples. So the first approach that you could try would be something like this. As a sales rep, I might say, let's say I'm in discovery. It sounds like win rate is a metric you want to improve. The prospect says, yes, 100%. Now, most reps would move on and then talk about how they can help. What I want you to do is say something like, when customers say they want to improve the win rate, it's usually impacting a more important metric. Same for you. Go quiet. And then the prospect might say, yes, pipeline coverage, our 20% win rate means we have to build 5 times coverage, which means hiring more SDRs. Now I'm starting to get into the territory of pain and metrics that CFOs or economic buyers want to approve and solve for and improve upon because they're expensive and having a massive impact on the team. Now, this takes practice, lots of role play, been doing this for a long time, but you definitely want to be practicing this once, twice a week, just so that you're ready to execute at the highest level when you're on conversations. What I also want you to do is map different metrics to different metrics above those ones. So for example, win rate, what metric might be above that would be pipeline coverage. Maybe for other reps, it might be forecasting accuracy. Maybe you're selling a HR solution. Maybe you're talking about engagement rates, and the metric above that would be employee turnover or employee attrition rates, that kind of stuff, right? So regardless of kind of what you're selling, find the key metrics and then find the ones that are above it and keep going until you hit something that would be really uncomfortable talking about at board level. And then use a talk track like this. Now, another way of thinking about it is this kind of approach. So stepped metrics. So on the step, I've got different metrics, and then below I've got like a small dollar value and a big dollar value. So the stuff that's lower down in these steps is not going to be seen as a big deal, so it's not going to require a lot of money to solve it. They're going to see it as not that big of a deal, right? $1, $2, for example, just making that up. But the stuff that gets a little bit higher, like target attainment, those are really big problems, and they warrant a really big deal size. So your job is to use stepped metrics to get to those big metrics that are being impacted. So for example, let's say I'm on a discovery call and I sell mobile phone data. Yeah, a bit like Lusher or Zoom Info, for example. Let's say I'm on a cold call or on a discovery call and my champion says, I ask a couple of questions and they say, yes, like cold call connect rates is suffering. It's a metric that we're not doing very well with at the moment. You don't want to stop there. You want to say, yeah, I hear that all of the time, Sarah. That's usually impacting things like meeting set. Is that the same for you? Yeah, because we're not connecting to many people, we're not giving ourselves enough chances to book meetings. So our meeting set rate is also being impacted. Got ya. Last customer I spoke with said that lack of meetings being set is impacting pipeline coverage, which puts forecast at risk. I guess that's the same for you, or would I be speaking out of turn there? No, you're absolutely right. And then finally, I guess what we're talking about, Sarah, is if we're not building enough pipeline, ultimately target attainment's going to be at risk, because if you've got, say, a 30% win rate, you need 3 times pipeline coverage. If you've not got 3 times pipeline coverage, then it's unlikely you're going to attain target. Would you say that's the really top end metric that's suffering as a result of not having a good set of mobile numbers? Can you see what I've done there? I've done it in a conversational way, but I know my metrics for what I sell, and I'm kind of planting them, getting them to correct me, agree or disagree, and I'm stepping up to the next one based on what I'm hearing in the market, what my customers tell me. So if you're struggling to get to top end metrics and you always find you're stuck with the lower level stuff, try and use a stepped metric model to go from a low level metric and step up to a top level one that the economic buyer is going to really care about improving upon.